Hi there, this is Catherine here from Best Self Co, and today we're going to talk about how to strengthen your willpower and build systems for consistency. When we think about motivation, it's not long until the word willpower pops into the conversation. And for good reason, because willpower affects our ability to achieve our goals. At its heart, willpower is the ability to resist short-term temptations and desires so that you can achieve long-term results. Put another way, it's your ability to prioritize things in the long term rather than instant gratification. It's basically self-control. Let's look at some examples of how we use willpower in relation to our goals. So maybe you have a goal to lose weight. You may lean on willpower to resist going for those snacks in the evening. Or maybe you want to run a marathon or you want to write a book, and willpower is the only thing that makes you pull on your running shoes or grab that pen even when it's the last thing that you want to do. If your goal is to grow your business, willpower may be needed to force yourself to stick to those cold calls or those emails to get and hit your sales goals. Now, all of that seems like a lot of work. How do we hack our willpower with Whypower? Now, what is your why? If you want to make significant improvements in your life, you need to have a reason. Change happens over long periods of time, and to keep at it, even when you're running out of willpower or you're tired or you're not yet seeing results, you need a stronger reason than just your willpower. The thing that will keep it going is your Whypower. Your why must be something that is motivating to you personally. It's the thing that keeps you going. It pulls you out of bed in the morning and it makes things easier. Willpower, it takes effort, and it's always something that you need to have. However, if you know your why, it makes it much easier. You're basically hacking the system. Now, sometimes it's hard to understand why that is, but here's a great example from the book, The Compound Effect. He says, if I were to put a 10-inch wide, 30-foot long plank on the ground and say, if you walk the length of this plank, I'll give you $20. Would you do it? Of course. It's an easy $20. But if you took that same plank, made a rooftop bridge between two 100-story buildings and said, that same $20 for walking that 30-foot plank. It no longer looks safe or desirable, and you're definitely not going to risk your life for $20. However, say your child was on the opposite building and the building was on fire. Would you walk the length of the plank to save them? Yes, without question, and immediately. I wouldn't even need to give you $20, you would do it. So why is it the first time I asked you to cross that sky-high plank, you said no way? Yet, the second time, you didn't hesitate. The risks were the same, the dangers are the same, but what changed? Your why changed, the reason for doing it. So the real fuel for your goals is your why. How do you tie back your why to your goals? To stick with the idea of your goal being to get healthy, how do you make that more powerful? Because that's not really something that's going to pull you out of bed in the morning. See, the majority of parents say that they would die for their kids, yet they don't change their habits to do all that they can to live the longest for their kids, which is funny that they don't tie that to being a goal. So our better choices easier to make when we know our why. If we can know our why, living longer for our kids or our grandkids, are we likely to make a healthier choice for dinner or actually go on that walk we've been talking about? Yes. So the key to your goals is figuring out your why. And then you want to strengthen your willpower with the self-journal. So just like we build muscles in the gym through reps, we can do the same thing with the muscle of willpower, because the fuel for our goals is in our why, but the initial steps is creating habits through willpower, and that is why the self-journal was created. With the science of willpower in mind, we want you to help yourself through discipline and through tracking every single day. When you track your progress daily, you can reduce the reliance on your willpower, which is a finite resource, and that's because when something becomes a habit, you don't need to think about it. You don't need to deplete willpower making it happen. Instead, the habit just becomes part of your identity, it becomes part of your day, and you do it without thinking. So, with that said, today's action item is this. Figure out what is something that you've been wanting to accomplish, but you just haven't either had the discipline or created the discipline to do it. 2, how can you connect your goal to your why? What would make this a no-brainer for you and give you the fuel for this willpower? Now take that goal, write it down in a piece of paper or in your self-journal, and figure out what would be the plan of action that you would need to do to reach it. So figure it out. What's the fuel? What's the why? What's the goal? And then what's the objections that your brain's bringing up? What are the challenges that you foresee? If you know this ahead of time, you're more likely to be able to defend against them. And based on this, come up with one small habit that you can start today that will bring you closer to your goal.